Hello, dear friends. My name is John Bossman, and thank you for joining with us today. Coronavirus and COVID 19 has taken the world by surprise and unexpectedly relegated business as usual for our churches obsolete. As most churches stood closed and empty, many local churches were able to live stream their services. Those churches who were prepared for electronic and online giving were still able to receive their tithes and offerings. Pastors are releasing devotionals now and podcasts, staying in touch with their people by sending emails, texts, using Facebook, Instagram, or other means. This practice is exciting and should continue. Quickly, an old adage became new. The message never changes, but the methods must. However, with every news conference, it's becoming clearer that this scenario is not going to change anytime soon. Moving forward, another reality now emerges. There is every possibility that we may start losing touch with our people. And that's why we are here today. For the next few minutes, allow me to offer a few suggestions to counter this looming predicament. History has taught us that we humans cannot live without meaningful personal relationships. Very soon, people are going to begin to miss the hugs and handshakes and fellowship of their church family. People need more than generic words of encouragement that the church sends to extensive database. The missing link is communication. We are talking to them, but they don't have the opportunity to speak with us. So, let me propose these simple action steps. First of all, Pastor, configure a simple yet straightforward structure within your existing structure. And you may wonder, how are you going to do this? Well, that will greatly depend on the size of your congregation. For example, let's suppose you have a church of 100 people and say 7 deacons. Consider your deacons as your care leaders for this effort. Then go ahead and assign 5 households out of your church to each of these care leaders. This approach will include more than 100 people in your care circle. And this is how it will look. There will be 7 deacon or leader households plus 35 member households, gives you a total of 42 households. The national average household in 2019 was 2.52 people. So if we take 42 households and multiply that with 2.52 per household, then we have 105 people. Another example, if you have a larger church, you likely have elders and deacons and other leaders. If you consider them as your leadership team for this effort, then your configuration would look something like this. Anoint 12 people who are spiritually mature to serve as care shepherds, which will be your first level of leadership. Then go ahead and assign 5 care leaders to each of these care shepherds, and we will refer to that as your second level of leadership. Then assign 5 households to each care leader. The people connection will now look like this: 12 care shepherd households plus 60 care leader households plus 300 member households gives you a total of 372 households, or more than 900 people. Mega churches would add a third level of leadership, which would reach more than 4,700 people. So, Pastor, decide where your church falls within this range and simply adjust the size of your leadership team accordingly. Also, if you have small groups or cell groups or community groups, those group leaders might be well suited already to serve as care leaders. Now, I talked to you about a simple structure. Now, secondly, I want to say keep everyone connected. Connection is the name of the game. So, lead pastor, this is what I suggest. Notify all your church people by email, text, etc., of the care outreach you have launched to stay in touch with all of your people during this season. Let them know they are important and that you, their pastor, care about them. Notify them that an elder or a deacon or some other leader from the church will be contacting them because they're helping you to launch this care ministry in your church for this season. Let them know they will reach out to them. Reassure them that nobody will be coming to their home. Now, care leaders have a special obligation, and they are really the ones that make everything work. Those are your elders, your deacons, your care leaders, and we're asking them to contact each assigned household regularly. The first contact should be a phone call. Now, we realize that if we call one household per day, we will reach our entire care circle in 1 week. Now, obviously there can be follow-up contacts, and there should be, and these can be by means of emails, texts, etc. But we're also urging our care leaders to make a personal call to each household at least every 2 weeks. But they may ask, or you may even ask, but what will they say to the people when they do make this call? Now, let me say up front that these conversations should be brief, but they must be warm and very cordial. And when they connect with them, the outline would probably look something like this. They will start off, obviously, with the initial greeting and introduction, but then they will proceed by saying, Pastor, and include your name, Pastor Keith, Pastor Tom, asked me to call you and ask you, how are you doing? And how is your family doing? The next question, are you facing any specific challenges right now? Number 3, do you have enough groceries? And number 4, is there anything the church can do for you? Now, after each question, wait for the answer, make a note, and move to the next question. And then finally, question number 5, how can I best pray for you today? Then obviously when they respond, you will pray for them. And you will leave them with a positive scripture. And so we want to underscore here again that prayer is the most important aspect of your contact. When you are done talking to them, praying with them, inspiring them, give them your personal phone number in case they may need to call you for some emergency. Then we're asking in number 3, we just simply call that the follow through. We ask that all the care leaders to report their contacts once a week to whomever you, as the pastor, designate to accumulate the information. They can use some form of electronic communication to submit the outcomes of each contact. There should be nothing fancy, but they need to simply include this information. First of all, the name of the household they contacted, when they contacted them, the day of the week, the time, the day that they contacted the household, and then also very important, the results of the contact, especially if there are needs or prayer requests. If you have any questions about care ministry, go to cmni.org. Finally, my dear pastor friend, we realize that these are challenging times, unprecedented times. We have never been here. Many people are fearful and they're walking in uncertainty. All people are ready for good news, ready for hope. Let me encourage you to embrace and deploy the tools I shared with you. Help your folks to find their way home. You'll be so glad you did. Thank you for joining with me today. God bless you, and let's stay connected.